Introducing the Tumblin' Weeble Spun House.
Subs in the water, gee, and that's just where a tub sub ought to be.
Imagine living in a Weeble's treehouse.
Discover the Romper Room Playground.
Imagine playing your Tarzan.
What a great monorail, Mickey! Slide, Donald!
Imagine going to the Weeble Circus, good fun all around. Right over there is Wobbles Weeble, he's the circus clown.
What do you love about a Weeble? Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Hey, look at me and Weeble. Me and Weeble go all around.
Talon Real and Chevy.
Good evening, everybody. Hopefully we are coming through loud and clear. It is a warm evening for this time of year. It's like 50 degrees outside. I literally wore a t-shirt outside today up here in Ohio. Hopefully everybody is doing well. I did see there are some questions in here. For those in Patreon, I will be on Patreon this evening. I just posted like 40 minutes ago a Patreon video, the last half, which has part question, part stills, and the other rest of the insider stuff. But I'll be on addressing all questions, photos, posts, anything like that tonight. This show will end in about an hour, hour and 10 minutes at the most, and I will be on Patreon straight after that. For those in Patreon, I will have another post. The poll comes down this week, and we're going to do a test run on a live show for those in Patreon. I do see at least 4 people, 5, 6 people from Patreon in here. So just FYI on that. You saw the intro if you caught the very beginning of the show. I have Weeble video coming out soon. I wanted to edit it all and have the whole thing done so I can just pop it around. First part will be out. I'm not going to put them out consecutively because they cover different areas, but you're going to get to see some up-close vintage Weeble collectibles that you probably would never see. We've got a massive collection, including foreign ones from Japan, Brazil, Argentina, obviously Canada, England, France, Netherlands, Belgium. We've got quite a bit collection, so you're going to get to see some up close. You're going to get to see how they were shipped in the boxes and the whole works too. We're going to talk a lot about Weebles in those videos. I think they're running about 16 or 17 minutes each. I know there'll be at least 3. I've got a ton more footage after I set up 3 of them already. But that will be coming out very, very shortly here. Again, if you haven't seen the very beginning here, the intro, if you missed it, there is a preview, some of the scenes. All those are vintage commercials from Weebles. I've done due diligence in tracking those down. I've had them for quite some time. Again, there's a huge, massive collection you'll get to see on Weebles. You'll get to see some of the artwork and where they came from. Values, we'll discuss the rare ones, the common ones, the variants, and things along that line too. So let's see here. I got 3 of these Elvis t-shirts, Karen, honestly. I bought one, loved it, and then I saw 2 more at the exact same place. And that's what I got. I had to get a couple extra. Hang on here. Let's see. Now, Creative Unique, let me just touch on a few questions. I am going to literally talk about eBay updates. We're going to hit Etsy, force changes. And I'm going to lay out some thought on the virus. If you're not or weren't set up to go to eBay up front, they can't. Well, they didn't cancel it. They delayed it till September. It was supposed to be the 12th of this month. They've already canceled it for now and postponed it for months on end until September. So I don't know what my schedule is going to be. I don't know if I can go. Very disappointed. I had meetups scheduled for 3 different people, as well as probably going to be meeting up with several other folks, Jim, Julie, several other folks too. Dave's out there. So I'm a little irked that they canceled it like that. I understand the thought. And we're going to talk about the virus and all that stuff too, because I've seen a lot of press and stuff about it and worrisome, and it's not all bad news for us anyway, and I just wanted to address some of that. Anyway, Creative Unique here, and I know you've got you've done the what you want to call it, nonprofit. I don't do nonprofit, in all honesty. I do help out at a couple nonprofits for the IT stuff and help them reset up laptops and things like that so they can sell them. I donate my time. I don't know anything about how they do the aspects, but what I could tell you is if you call your local Better Business Bureau, possibly may have some connections. But the number one place I would look for would be the Small Business Administration. And I know for sure there's some endowments and things like that in almost any town, but call the Small Business Administration for your town or city, the biggest city near you, and I bet you $1,000,000 they'll tell you exactly who to talk to get some contacts in that field. I mean, I associate and have done some things for a few churches, including the church I went to. I did a lot of volunteer work and things, and with Boy Scouts as an Eagle Scout and stuff, we had to do a project, and I always did everything at the church that I went to. I donated time for their festivals and fairs and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, recently we've done some work for the Greek festival they have down here at the Greek church. Love the food anyway. But anyway, that would be my honest to goodness best guess on hooking up with some of the other nonprofits. They should have a list of who has a license in the city and should be able to steer you in the right direction, I would say, as well. Now, you can also go downtown and buy a list of people who have licenses. I don't know if you know that, but in most towns, the town charges for your information. Like somebody can go downtown and find out that I have a license for this, a license for that, a license for that. And what happens is you get calls from accountants all the time when you first start a business and have a license. It usually happens within 30 to, say, 90 days from that time frame of you getting it, because they don't probably pull it every month. But just FYI, I've had that happen a few times, especially when we've moved or had to change the address on something. Just be careful in that. I always put every address to a PO box or an off-site address, just FYI. None of the addresses I use are anything that are tied directly to our personal life. Keep everything separate. So anyway, that would be my best guess on that. Whether you do artwork or not, Creative Unique with it, nonprofit-wise, has a whole different group of rules and laws and regulations, which I have no clue on. If you're setting up or working with some other organizations, I can probably tell you would have to do some extra stuff. In all honesty, you're probably going to have to sign something, maybe even some non-disclosure agreements, because it is a non-profit. Some of those have that kind of thing. So that's about all I could tell you on non-profit hooking up and doing any of that. In all honesty, again, I don't do any non-profit whatsoever like that. I mean, I donate stuff, but I don't do anything other than get a slip from them when we donate, and that's about it. I donate time too occasionally, hours here, hours there if they need something fixed. But again, that's the best I could tell you. Just like any business, I call this Small Business Administration here. I did call Better Business Bureau, and there's another one more government agency you can call. I can't remember the name. There's one more agency, but just call the Small Better Business Bureau or the Small Business Administration. They're going to know exactly who to call in the whole works. I guarantee it. Hustle and Grind, how are you doing tonight? Tina, how are you doing? Disney Family 515. Yeah, I saw emails. I will look at that tonight, Disney Family 515. Literally, I saw it when I posted the video, and I didn't have enough time to do anything before I went on the show. My father-in-law is in the hospital, and he's had a quadruple bypass, so he's gaining fluid, and there's some issues going around. So we've been a little off schedule just this past week. So just FYI. Duncan, almost pizza time. Good morning. Yeah, Duncan is in Australia. Yeah, let me shoot this out there. Now, I know everybody talks virus and worrying about sales and stuff. In all honesty, the virus, in my opinion, will probably get you some sales. Because, not talking about selling medical, I won't sell face masks or any of that stuff to make a fortune. We thought about it a month ago, but I don't think morally wise I could do it and rake off somebody's, hardships or risk. A month ago, we could have made a lot of money because there wasn't hardly anybody in it when it first started, and that was our first thought. But with it, a lot of people aren't going out in public, so they've got time at home So they're searching online. I've been selling. I'm up from December right now, and it's been steady since December, honestly. So my first quarter is probably going to end up being higher than my fourth quarter, and that's just a fact. Surprised or not, I don't know. I usually expect it to continue fourth quarter into first quarter, same ranking sales, same level, same everywhere, everything. But this is well above that. And the only thing that makes sense is that a lot of folks are staying at home. They don't want to be out in public. And instead of shopping out in public or wasting their time at a mall or going to a sale or a show or something, they're doing stuff from home and searching on the internet. That's what I see, because I've been selling, just left and right, just all kinds of stuff. And I was going to run a promoted, not the paid promoted, but I was going to do a sales markdown and promotion of my own accord through eBay, but I haven't had to do it. I literally was all set to do it. And then, like 2 weeks ago, it kind of was like, well, I don't know if I want to do it or not. And then the sales just kept coming in. They're still coming in like mad. Just before the show, I sent out 7 offers to watchers. 3 people accepted theirs right off the bat, and then I sold like 5 more items just in the last hour of piddling around here. It's been a busy day, so as always these days. But again, my sales are way up, and again, I'm not trying to brag, but it seems to me that the folks who are out normally would shop out or do something else for collectibles and stuff must be buying them online, piddling away their extra time because they don't want to be out in public. That's what it seems like. I don't know what else the answer could be. Again, I'm not going to sell stuff that's medically usable, just to make a profit. The face masks were like the one that was, gaining in ground. We literally thought about that. I know somebody who's doing it, and I know how much they're making, but I won't do it. Just my personal opinion. I mean, nothing wrong if that's what you want to do. I'm not going to judge anybody, but it's not my bag, I guess. But I'll be on tonight, Disney Family 515. Yeah, the dragon stamps on those are awesome. Didn't know you were on there, Duncan, when I pulled these out, but let me just show a couple of some images here that I got. I love photos. These are Chinese photos. These are from Shanghai, Hong Kong, Kowloon, and Hongqiao, I think, is the other city these are from. And this is Shanghai Harbor, I do believe. I'm going to have to look for sure, but I'm almost sure that's what this is. These are panoramic, real photos. I paid $10 for these total. I'm probably looking at a couple hundred a piece, and I got a stack of these. So now I know this one is Hong Kong as far as I can remember, because that building, I know it's in another photo I have. Hongqiao, this is Hongqiao. Again, they're real photos. They're on paper, the whole works. Nice, interesting pieces. Let's see here. This is Hong Kong. Or no, I'm sorry. This is Kowloon, if I'm not mistaken on this one. This is the Tea Garden at Kowloon, if I'm correct on that. And this is Shanghai at night. This one I know too, because this building is the where they handle all the import-export, and I can't think what the name of the building is, but there's postcards of this building here too. I love China stuff, so for me this is awesome, and especially because they're marked. Now I can take a photo of that or a shot of that, and then Chrome search it with Google and probably come up with what that says. But again, it's the same place as one of the other ones. There's that same building, so I know where that one's at technically. Yeah, here's the airmail building too. So this is Shanghai right here too. I know this building too. You handle enough stuff like this, you're going to recognize the buildings more than anything else. So when other people aren't sure, these are marked as Japanese, just FYI too, when I bought them. It said old Japanese photos, and they listed them as post World War II, which there's no way they're post World War II. So anyway, just because I've, again, had some of these photos, this is a known shot, and you will see this in many versions. And then there's actually a postcard of this same one, just showing the one building on there. That postcard goes for like $400. And this is Shanghai as well again. This one is... This is Hong Kong Harbor right here. And then Shanghai again. So you can see I got a nice little assortment for $10. I don't know, what are there, 8, 10 of these here. $200 minimum a piece, I would guess. There's $2,000 in those photos right there that I just showed you. If that gives you any idea on value on stuff like China stuff in general. Just a coincidence. I hunt for China stuff everywhere. I go to sales based on who might own houses and things like that too. I make random calls. I talk to professors and all kinds of stuff, groups that have people from that country that would be over here. So, there's a way to find almost anything. And that's just one stack. I got some more China photos over there, actually. I wasn't going to spend a bunch of time. I was just going to call them out. Hey, Carl. Catch it later on. That's fine, Carl. Richard Sanders, how are you doing as well? And right below is Black Crystal Dice this evening. Greetings as well. Regina, how are you doing? Happy Weirdo Arts and Crafts. Well, you are welcome. Everybody's new at some point. Kilroy, yes, Weebles are on the way. Summers, 422. Yes, there is a video up, as I said, if you missed the very beginning. Late to class. Well, thank you, Eddie. Good to see you in here. Jeffrey D is in the house, too. Let's see here. Bitcoin trades. Etsy, I think it starts in April that you're going to, if you sell over $10,000 on eBay, or not on eBay, on Etsy, you're going to be required to pay for promoted listings, whether you want them or not. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're required to do it. You only pay, though, if it sells, but you're automatically going to be giving Etsy 10% more for them to market it. Now, this is different than your listing fees. You'll pay your normal 4 or 5% total in, fees and, listing prices and the whole works for that to start with. Plus, this is going to be like almost 15% of your total sale price will be given to Etsy after this, if you sell over 10,000. If you don't sell over 10,000, you have a smaller store, you're going to automatically be put into this, and you will have to click or back yourself out of it, afterwards. There's no, automatic opt-out. It's automatically going to opt everybody into it. It's a money grab. No other way around it. We all know with the free shipping, if you do Etsy, what happened with that. I get more Etsy people these days, including four Etsy people today hit me up on, what would be the best for selling some of the stuff they sell on Etsy, on eBay, because of what they are doing to Etsy. There is a big backlash. If you check any of the Reddit boards when they did the free shipping, it was just everywhere. And now with the whole changeover there, it's gotten to be ugly sounding in my book. To have 4 people in one day hit me up on switching over and how could I get their inventory and moved and all this other kind of stuff, I think that's going to take a big hit on Etsy doing something like that. That's almost as bad as eBay, and ad blocker and all the other stuff that's going on with the promoted listings on eBay. I see eBay's even pushed off. They haven't announced yet the pay-per-clicks like they were supposed to be doing. My guess is they're probably running a test program of it somewhere, and we just don't know it. I haven't seen or heard anybody else talk that there is that, but I was personally told on a video conference call with eBay execs, including head of seller experience was on that call too. So it was people who know what they're talking about told me openly that there was supposed to be an update in January, which is pushed off, and now it doesn't even have everything that I was told it would. So maybe they got wise and changed, backtracked on what they said they were going to do. I think it would be a bad decision to do pay-per-clicks in the first place, because then they don't even have to, collect for only when they sell. They're going to be collecting every time someone clicks, and that might be more beneficial to them. Obviously, if that's more beneficial to them, they may do some other move and just kind of stick it to us. The Etsy thing's just crazy. Like, if you don't do Etsy, Etsy offers you a way to advertise on Etsy and only on Etsy. It's just kind of like eBay's, advertising where they pop a listing up at the top of the page. That's what Etsy does on there, and you pay extra for that. Well, if you're going to advertise on Etsy, you're going to have to pay for that. And if you sell over 10,000, you're automatically going to be promoted your listings as well. Now, those are two different things. The Etsy advertising is just on the Etsy platform. The forced Etsy advertising, though, that you have to pay for if you sell more than 10,000 is off platform. So it'll be like Google and placements across the web. My only concern on that is if they're not paying or properly leveraging those on the proper sites for the items that they are, it's not going to do you much good. I know you don't pay unless you sell it, but again, you know, I don't know. I'm not too trusting when somebody forces you to advertise your wares off of the site with no way to back out of that whatsoever. I think there may be a small group, maybe it's 5%, who knows, a decent amount of people at least that are going to bail on Etsy if they, you know, this is 2 strikes now. You know, I don't go past 3 usually when stuff like this happens, so just FYI. If you haven't hit the like button, pop that like button for me. I know I always get those negatives. People just don't want information, I guess. But if you did enjoy the conversation, please hit that like button. It does help the channel. I have tried very hard to do better and more in-depth content. I try to get straight to the point. So do appreciate anybody, if you do like the channel, to hit that like button. Let's see here. Kilroy... Yeah, if you guys will get to see how many Weebles we have. Patreon, I have 2 Swamp Yankee. There's 3 levels on Patreon. $1.99 just to, you know, be out there. There's a $4.99 and $9.99. $9.99 is just everything. It's videos, the whole works. I do at least 2 videos a week. They're longer videos. They're more in depth, and they talk about more specific stuff that I don't talk about on YouTube. Let me put it this way. I don't want to flood my areas as well either. I limit the information. I'm not going to put certain things out there either, just out of respect for some of fellow sellers. And there's just some things that I'm not wanting to just shell out to the world. So, you know, that it's mostly just all videos. I'm not going to guarantee somebody's going to make a ton of money doing anything on my Patreon account, but I would be shocked if you didn't learn enough to make some money to easily pay for the $9.99, in my opinion. I get those comments all the time. People send me photos and stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff I do in Patreon like that. There'll be a live show once a month, and then I've got a community tab. You can post comments. You can email me directly. And people post photos of items that I talk about, or I'll do a video. Video that went up today is a last third part of movie-related collectibles. This is the Patreon video. And then the last half is an answer to a question from Patreon, and it's actually addressing a photo that they posted personally. So, anyway. Balta, good evening, Balta. How are you doing? Good to have you as well. Hey, Eddie, how are you doing? Aaron, Weeble's Museum. I wouldn't go Weeble's Museum, but there's at least 1,400 pieces in the collection. And that's a lot for Weebles, just to let you know. Let's see here. Let me slide down. Yeah, my feed's already locked up, so give me a sec. There it goes. Yeah, I don't know what everybody else's has, but mine always locks up. Well, Frank Z, thank you very kindly for the super chat. For some reason, it's not showing up until I got slid down in here. My feed locks up and freezes quite often. Thank you very kindly for the super chat. You know, I honestly, truly forget it's there half the time until someone does one. You know, it helps defray my time and my cost into this. My camera, the camera I just got looks like the motherboard already burned out. I'm going to have to go through warranty. It's going to be a heck of a long ordeal. Could be a couple months before I get that thing back. I'm just probably going to have to invest in another one as a backup is the only thing I can say at this point. At least the lenses are all interchangeable. Midwest Picker, how are you doing this evening? Good to have you. Julie and Jim, how are you doing? Yes, they did cancel, as I said, eBay up front. So some of you folks that we were planning on meeting, I don't know if I will make the September one. It's too early to tell. The same event, Jim Julie, is next month. I may set something up maybe. I'm not really sure yet on my schedule for next month. We do have an issue with my father-in-law, so it's conceivable that I could end up having to be on the coast, the Gulf Coast, at some point in the next, say, 4 weeks, just FYI. My business will still be here. We have employees, so... Yeah, that was disappointing for sure. I was really surprised that they did that, but I get the thought on it. How do I manage, Michelle, a state of order? How do you manage your master inventory with so many platforms? Thank you. Everything is labeled. If it's on multiple platforms, I've got ways to pull it down, and we check it all. just because I'm on multiple platforms, I don't have to keep separate inventory because it's only one set of inventory for certain items. So I only have one area to pull no matter where it's from. The numbers all match, the location bins all match, whatever platform I'm on. With a Shopify, the items, when it sells, it pulls them down from the other ones. If I'm on Hipper and the other ones, it pulls them down. So that's the key to this. I would never again want to try to pull down manually listings when they sell on one site versus another one, because that's a nuisance. Oh my God, is that a nuisance? Try selling 140, 150 items in one day and have all of those cross-listed on another site and see what happens at the end of the evening when you're sitting there for 2 hours trying to pull down ones from other sites. If you got a half a dozen things selling a day, it's not so bad, but we've had days where I've done 140, 150 items, and it was... I just turned off part of it. I just couldn't deal with it. It was that much of a burden. So again, that's why we tried to do Sellbrite and Ecom Dash, and now we've landed on Shopify, and I'm sticking with Shopify. Again, we got some videos coming out. They're pretty much done. I'm just kind of focusing on my Shopify first before I roll out the videos, so I can show some better examples, I guess would be the point of that. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you, I can tell you right now. The more listings you have, the more it's going to cost you. There's people, I've heard that the import fee alone was like $900 to $1,000 to get all their items imported from eBay into Shopify. But, we're talking 100,000 or so. I got a lot, so it was pretty expensive, let's just say. That's the biggest cost in Shopify. It's something you don't have to do, but I would never want to try to post so many. I'd be here the rest of my life trying to transfer listings from eBay to Shopify and then to rebroadcast them out from Shopify to eBay and all. I've said this before, if you do any third party and you want control of your inventory, you have to own it. The only way to own it is to download it either into a third party app or like on a Shopify. Basically, you import it. It's not really downloading, but once it's imported into there, you have to kill every one of your listings on eBay and only propagate it out from Shopify or Sellbrite or wherever you're doing it from. The only way the third-party app or Shopify knows that you've sold something so it'll automatically take it down from all the sites is if the listing originated in Shopify. It has to be original from Shopify. So again, if I import 10 listings into Shopify and broadcast them out, it's going to make me with 20 listings on eBay basically, because it's going to send out a batch of listings and I've already got it on the site. So you got to kill the listings that are already there. So that's the issue with it. When you have a ton of listings, you have to manually go in there and kill certain ones, and then you got to watch out for listing fees. So that's the time frame, because obviously most of my listings end all over the place. I don't really worry about it. Never thought it would be an issue until doing something like this. And then again, I don't know what the answer would be to fix that either. So, we just do a bunch when they end on eBay. I stop them from auto relisting. When they end there, they'll be done. I go ahead and then I import them. Well, they're already imported, but I'll click them active on there. And again, I'm using my internal bin numbers like A15, Z28, Z39, whatever the bin numbers are, and I can do them in groups like that, and I can have multiple people do them. So if I got 1,000 items end in one day, I can just flip those over or flip groups of them at a time. And what I've been doing is doing category at a time. So maybe that's beyond somebody's interest, but that's what's all involved in worrying about your inventory across multiple platforms. As long as it's pulled down for you, and you're not going to forget it that way. That's the key. In the past, I've sold something on one platform and forgot to take it down, or someone else did because maybe I wasn't here, and the item was sold on both platforms or 3 platforms or whatever the case may be, and obviously that runs into an issue there. So, an app to do it for you is the only way to go when you have quantity. If you're just selling, a couple pieces of clothing from Poshmark a day versus, what you're selling on eBay, taking down a few things isn't a big ordeal. But if you're on multiple platforms, it gets to be a headache. And again, that's why I've spent 9 months trying to get to a point where I can do this effectively. And Shopify, I should have just done in the first place. Nothing wrong with Sellbrite. It did everything it said, and so did Ecom Dash. But category alignments and things like that are a nuisance and a nightmare beyond belief, because your categories in eBay don't match Etsy. They don't match Amazon. Nothing syncs. It's terrible from that aspect. But at least with like Hip, they only sell postcards, so they only get access to the postcard side, so only postcards are imported. The only bad part about that is if you list something that's not a postcard, it automatically is pulled into HIP. And most people on HIP aren't going to be looking for anything without postcards. So it's just a waste of time, basically. Yeah, I know I rambled on that one. Let's move on there. Dr. Full, how are you doing this evening? Hey, Kathy, how are you doing? Why do I wait to get my numbers together for taxes? Everybody does it because you pay, gives you more time to get some more money banked. At least that would be my take on it. Mine's all done. You know, I already fill it all that. I usually, as soon as I get in my Google Sheets and Slips and what was the other one I had to wait on this time? Well, one of the other platforms I'm on. I'm not going to give that one out, but another platform. I wait till those two pieces are in. Once those are in, I file. I'm never in a hurry. I've got a bank account. We set money aside, so I never have to worry. Do I have the money in there? There's always, it automatically goes into there. You know, a certain percentage on it. If you don't have business bank accounts, go get yourself a business bank account. Don't just get one business bank account. Get two. Our bank gives them away for free. I could get 10 of them from what they told me for free out there. I've got one for, well, we have technically 3 business ones, but I've got one for receiving and then one for payables. And then I have a payroll one, technically 2. I just got the 3rd one, so I use one now for payable and receivable, but I want to switch them. So one account is just a payout for expenses, the other one's for receivable payments in, and then I'll disperse from that account to the my payroll account. So that's what a business would do, like a restaurant or something. They have multiple accounts and things are pulled from one, like operating expenses come from one account, your payroll comes from another account, you know, and you may have a receivable account as well too. It's just the way banking works in the real world. Let's see here. Good luck with that, Kathy. I like working on spreadsheets, in all honesty. I set up every one of my own by myself. I just love that kind of thing too. Let's see here. The Stunlaw 1, how are you doing? Good to have you. Naomi Jones from Seattle. I have not been in Seattle. I think that's one of the towns I always wanted to get to. Happy Weirdo Arts and Crafts. Background check for permanent volunteers. Yes, I would background check anybody in these day and ages, in all honesty. It's like $35. We have a company that's offered us the service. I know everybody who works for me, they work or are friends with my kids, so I don't have to do that. But Carolina Pix, how are you doing this evening? I think I answered your question, unless you had a new one in there too. Video is up tonight as well too. Oh, my dog's down here already. Let's see here. Do you think you will ever sell your original art creations? I do sell my originals. I got a whole bunch of seasonal cards coming out too. The last year's Christmas cards I was going to list, I actually sold them all before I got to that point. I just sold them all to, I think I sold them to 2 different people. Dave and, yeah, 2 different people bought all of them between them. So if they want to buy them all at the price I asked, I let them do it. And they sell them at shows and stuff like that, apparently. I don't care what they do with them. I got my money. When I do the originals, some of them I keep. The Frog Astronaut's one of the ones I will keep. But I do sell originals all the time. I've even given away a couple to viewers here on YouTube. I gave away one of the originals from one of my postcards. I think last, Halloween I think I did. I'd have to go back and remember who actually I gave that to, too. And somebody got a Killer Clown, a full finished Killer Clown, too. But I do sell some. I've got the eye up for sale on eBay, but it's just some eye. I mean, most people wouldn't be into that anyway. But that is on my eBay site right now. Happy Weirdo Arts and Crafts, Tennessee. I have been in Nashville. We actually went to the Knoxville World's Fair when I was a child, and I did some work in Chattanooga area once before for a company. Crickety, is it Thursday again already? Yes, it is. Hang on, there goes my feed again. Well, Dom, you didn't have to do that. Dom, Primetime Treasure in the house. I was going to call this out a little while before we get too far out here. Dom, if you don't know, and again, I talk to Dom pretty often. I even chatted on phone earlier today a couple times. Me and Dom are going to have another live show. It's on his channel. He did say it was okay to talk about it. It will be the 13th, Primetime Treasure Hunter. If you don't know his channel, I would honestly go to his channel. He's like the only one that I always watch. Because we're so close to the same types of things that we are into and are willing to do. And he's got pretty much the same methodology and thoughts on lotting and time frames and no rush and everything else and customer service. He's a companion to my channel, running parallel, I would say. But I'm going to be on his channel on the 13th. I originally was going to cancel my live show because of eBay up front on the 12th. They canceled it, so I just wanted to be live. So there will be my regular live show. I did tell a few folks that I wasn't going to be live next week, but I will be twice, 2 days in a row, once on Dom's. We are also going to have, me and Dom are working on it right now, a movie night for fans. It's going to be on my channel the first time. I don't know if we're going to do it across or how it's going to work after that, but it's something I had been thinking about and working on for a little while on and off here, and I've got little segments and all kinds of stuff. But I don't know the final format as of yet, but we're going to have a movie night here. I'm going to give away a movie collectibles packet. It's going to probably have a movie poster, some stills, just some interesting items that are all authentic. I don't care what you do with it. The winner of the contest will get it no matter what, just like normal. It's going to be given away on the live show, so you have to be on the show. All the rules, regulations will follow everything to the T with what YouTube says I have to and my state laws as well. So I did investigate that. Dom, again, Primetime Treasure Hunter, friend of the channel. So those are the two events we have set up. If we can get everything worked out, the movie night will be this month still. I'm hoping it's going to be just something extra. I will still have probably a normal video up that day, but this is just like some fun. We'll be just chatting back and forth is what we're looking at too. We're going to play a full-fledged movie of some sort that evening, something that will be entertaining. I was almost thinking about playing some of the Firebird X, I can't think of the name, Gary Anderson. Those are now in public domain, and I have some HD quality copies that a friend gave me of the public domain of those. So I don't know what we're going to do yet. We also have a business-related one. I'll probably chat with Dom and we'll see about putting one together maybe. I don't know if we want to go just for fun or put some education in it too at the same time. I chat with a lot of folks in these days, and as does Dom, and we've gotten to know a lot of people. So this is kind of like a thank you, I guess, more than anything else. Just something to have some fun, and you're going to get to win something that's going to be worth some decent money. So it'll be an enjoyable evening for sure. You'll have to have popcorn in the whole works. It's going to be outside the box night for sure, I'll tell you right off the bat. Because I've shot some segments, and we've got some stuff to mix up into it. Think Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of thing a little bit. Is what we're kind of going for, I guess. But thanks again, Dom. You don't ever have to do that. We share a lot, so I'm not worried about, calling out Dom on my channel. Again, Dom is the only channel that I pretty much watch all of his videos, just by sheer time. I don't have time. There's a lot of other good YouTubers out there, and no disrespect to anybody else. Midwest Picker is on here too. He's got a channel as well. There's a lot of folks that I deal with. Craig Landshark Picker, Scott Bearded Picker, Wade's Ventures. The list goes on. Not trying to miss anybody, because I do talk to a lot of folks, but there's a lot of good channels. I just don't have time to watch much videos at all. Doms usually play when I'm packing up. I usually have enough time to watch a couple of Doms in the morning. Not every morning, of course, unfortunately, because I just don't have the time, but I like seeing what he finds, so, just FYI. But thanks, Dom. Thanks again for that. And I am locked up again. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, Dom's showed up, but the other one did not. That's annoying. Yeah, my feed's just all over the place today, as always. Let me pop down here. Aura Blue, you're from Australia too. I've got like 6 or 7 people now from Australia. Brigitta Haggins, how are you doing? Thank you very kindly. Yeah, Duncan sells very similar. I love stamps, so I keep more than I sell, in all honesty, in stamp-wise. I've got a massive collection. We had to get a big deposit box at the bank just because of that. But people are staying home. and sales are, I literally was going to do a sales markdown and promotion, not the paid one, the one that we can do on our own without paying eBay a dime extra. And I a couple weeks ago, and I just, everything's just started going all over the place. So I still haven't done one. I haven't done a sales markdown or anything like that for, third quarter. In all honesty, I don't do promoted listings at all. I know I'm going to have somebody say that, but I don't do any promoted listings at all. Haven't done them in like 5-6 months since I found out that they were doing ad blocker, blockable ads and broadcast it to everybody. That's what was going on. Excuse me. But sales have been, incredibly well. I'm up 37% if I go by eBay's matrix over year over last. Over last month, I'm up 27%. So, again, and now my figures are a little lower than that. I'm still in the 20s, though. eBay's figures of year over last or last month over are based on the top 2 or 3 categories you sell in. So I can't judge that at all because that doesn't warrant where I'm making my money at in sometimes. So, let's see here. Michelle, I was thinking sales might go up too with people being home. That's exactly what I see it as. Yeah, I've been just listing like mad. We listed, I think like 80 or 90 of those advertising pens were listed today. 106 or 107 lots of Victorian die cuts, a bunch of postcards, some photos. Toys were listed today, DVDs, Blu-rays. I think across all platforms there was almost 500 items listed today. That's probably a fair estimate on it. Again, I don't list them all, so it's employees. I had several employees. The wife's listing right now. We push them while the sales are in. I don't let off. If the sales are coming in really good, we're hammering it all hands on the deck because I can afford to just spend as much labor as I want. I don't have to worry about anything when the sales are rocking, and it just keeps them going. Again, there's a snowball effect. If your bunch of sales start coming in, you start listing constantly new items, you're going to sell part of those new items as well as the rest of your sales coming in. So I am, way up there in sales right now. Well over 20% over year over last, 30% over last month alone. So that's a 10% increase between last month and this month. And I'm over December by a long shot, like by 15 or 20%. Easy over December month. So, fourth quarter rolls right into first quarter for us. And in all honesty, my summer, I'm still running, I'm still running 5-digit months constantly on every account that we're running on eBay. So, well, not every, 2 of the accounts. I don't want to get carried away there because we've got 3 accounts, and one of them I don't make anywhere near that on that account. It's only very specific items we touch on that account. That other account, too, is one of the ones that we buy all of our supplies from, too, like the postcard sleeves, the top loaders, the protectors, the 12 by 18 poly bags. All that stuff comes from other sites, either our Amazon business-to-business account. Sometimes I'll buy it business pricing, or straight out I'll buy it too. We do have an Amazon business-to-business account because we do sell stuff in bulk, including some of the artwork. So I don't discuss that very much because it's all tied together, and I'm not one to give out certain information on Amazon. But if you sell stuff in bulk or have connections for warehousing full of items and stuff, or the ability to buy in mass quantities wholesale-wise, get yourself a business-to-business account with Amazon. You can actually buy wholesale off of Amazon through the business-to-business account. You have to be approved, and they go through a bunch of stuff to do it. But in all honesty, it was a good thing. It is, in all honesty. You just got to be into volume is the only thing. Like if I do a postcard, I can do one design and I can sell 10,000 of them to one person if the quantity is there. So just stuff like that is a doable thing. So just FYI. Let's see here. Kilroy, eBay and Amazon are going after face mask price gougers. That's new. I did not know that. We honestly decided I would not do it. I can't feel right to force people to pay higher when their lives could be at risk. So, I'm sure I'll get a ding. Somebody will give me a thumbs down for saying that, but I'm not gonna. It's not money at all cost in my book. I don't care about that. I'm fine with the steadiness. Slow and steady, makes it better than fast and just hammer it and try to rip everybody on it. I'm not going to do that. That's why I don't do shock videos. I don't do, all the dumpster diving and all. Nothing wrong with the videos because I don't mind watching them, but I don't do all those kind. I look what I found, $1 million sales and all that stuff. I do what I like to do, and if it takes me longer to get more subscribers, so be it. I'm fine. I do my business the way I want to, and that's the joy of being a reseller. I don't have to worry about how I do it. Same thing with YouTube here. I don't rush to put up things. I don't just cram out a video. I don't put up videos unless I think they're good videos, or at least the content is good material. There's a glitch here or there in some of my videos and stuff, just like always. My camera's down now, so, I'm going to have to decide on that. But anyway. 19th Vintage, how are you doing? Good evening. Also, the share market is down from the virus, so people need to invest and seem to be investing in old and fear. Yeah, I would see that as well, too. I know what you're saying there. In general, sales have been up, and across all gambits. I mean, DVD sales are up. Of course, DVD sales are up. Blu-rays are up. Video games are way up. Video games right now, in my book, and what we're seeing is they're up like December pre-Christmas sales right now. Because, again, parents are keeping their kids home, and we sell, internationally, so, it's not just people here. Paper's up, postcards are up, comic book sales are up, toys are definitely up. It's like fourth quarter right now, in all honesty. People aren't spending as much money, but they're still wanting to do stuff and get movies and all kinds of stuff. So, in all honesty, everything is going pretty good, with sales and stuff. Again, I'm not bragging. It's just the way it is. I don't know how to tell you it's running this way without telling you it's running this way. I know I always get nasty email or messages telling me I can stop bragging and stop being. I love to hear the sound of my own voice, people tell me, which is totally insane. I think my voice sounds terrible. I don't like my own voice. I'm not a fashion hound, as you can see. So, anyway. Are you a collector? Well, welcome in this evening. Good to have you. $9.99, yeah, for that. And again, thanks, Frank. I just see that there again. He'll give me $20 for all those old pictures. No, Duncan knows what those go for. Those are panoramic, too. These are far better than just standard photos that I run into. The little ones still sell, but these are going to go for some good money. I'm giving you the bottom line. $200 would probably be the bottom end of those. I've sold photos like this for $500 and $600. Now, they were Kowloon, inner city areas, and the area that we're talking about doesn't exist anymore. It was destroyed, wiped out intentionally, so that's why they go for so much. Did he talk about eBay updates? eBay updates, in all honesty, there's nothing in my book that you need to look at that's going to affect your business. There's nothing that I need to change whatsoever with how I run my business, how I do anything. So any of the changes that I've seen are just don't worry about. It's in my book. The only good one is it'll allow you to send more offers to watchers so you can get more out of that. Now, I finally, after all of this time, finally got down to 0 watchers to offers for a whole whopping 5 minutes. I got them all down. I sent out multiples. I've been doing a couple hundred every 2 or 3 days, trying to finally catch up because I don't like to send out or do sales markdowns and stuff unless I've got all my offers to watchers out the door. Because if I put a sale out and happen to have one of those items in the offers to watchers possibilities, I might get stuck, giving it away a little cheaper than I would normally. So got them down to 0. 5 minutes later, I had 17 more up already. So, I don't know what everybody else's odds are, but we're running like 140 to 175 new ones we can add every single day of the week. Offers to watchers every single day. That's how many I can send out on average. Now, there's been some days where I've had, a lot more than that. How many are from the same person? I don't know. But we, as I said, we listed a bunch of items, and I've got like 62 or 63 as of like an hour or two ago of people watching those new items that just went up on top of it. I don't send offers to watchers on items that have been up for only, a couple weeks. I don't do any offers to watchers until they've been up for at least 60 days. Just me. Because usually I can skank out a little bit more profit margin by letting them sit there for a little longer. And they sell at almost full price or full price instead of marking them down. I never list something up and hope to sell it immediately. I don't have to do that. I don't do that. I don't care about doing that. I want to keep as much of my profits as I can. And the only way to do that is to not, mark down. Don't waste your money, or at least I'm not wasting my money on promoted listings. Not saying promoted listings won't help you, but for my business, it does nothing for me in my book. I don't see any difference. Right now, I'm doing better than I probably was before when I was doing them. Excuse me. Let's see where we at. Evening, Mary. Hey, Don, do you ship those 8x10 photos the same way you ship sheet music? Yes, I do, Gary. The only difference is if they go for decent money, I maybe put a flap of cardboard in. Same size of cardboard I use for postcards. I'll stick one extra one in there. So basically to mail an 8x10 photo, I use a 12 by 12 by 12 panel from a box, one side of a 4-sided box. And then I add one flap, which would be a 1/16 of a box, to that as well, too. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see here. Best for less. Well, thank you very kindly. Sunshine Me. Hang on, my feed is frozen again. Well, thank you very kindly. Relic Picker, how are you doing? Good to have you on. Recognize the avatar, so I know you comment quite often. Let's see here. Mary, why do all the sites and people get so greedy? Money. I mean, money is the root of all evil in my book. I don't care to be filthy, stinking rich. And I know people, you're just saying that, but I don't really honestly care. I'm more worried about being happy. I've said this before. The one thing about reselling that people just don't get, or the one thing about running your own business that people just don't get, it's not the money, it's the freedom that this gives me. That's all this really is, difference-wise. Yeah, maybe I might work more hours, but it's my hours. I can do anything I want with them, anytime I want, however I want to do them, however I want to break them down. This is freedom. That's the one thing that being self-employed offers you that is the difference in all the world. There's nothing more important to me than having that freedom. It's changed our lives to so much extent that I would never have it any other way. So, you've got to have a drive to some extent to get this going, in my personal opinion. Take it how you want, but the people who are successful have some gosh darn tough drive in their head that they're just so stubborn. Now, I've got ADHD and OCD and stuff, so maybe I'm a little different on that because I can't get stuff out of my head when I want to even. So it's a little different for me, but for me, I've got one thing in my head, and that's all I'm working towards, It's the getting the company going and getting down the end of the road and getting to where I want this thing to go with us. And it's been doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Every single month, my sales are up just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I can't complain, but that's about it, I guess, on that. Let's see here. Greed, though. Yeah, I'm not a big fan on stuff like that. Where are we? They start out reasonable, and then they go for the money grab and knock everyone's socks off. I can't do that. The face masks, when we were first contemplating it was just in a tiny area. It just had leaked in the news. It wasn't anywhere else but China. But if you followed SARS and all that stuff, and I know people who made money on that. There's a group of us, and some of the people I associate with occasionally do that stuff. I won't do it. I'm not going to criticize them. Some people need the money just as bad as other people, so I'm not going to say it's me morally wise. I can't do it. I've got a child who has a medical issue, and I'm not going to be able to feel comfortable doing that. So, there's other things you can sell, but if it's related to medical, I just can't do that. I can't do that, especially when in this country we spend 10 times what they do in Canada. And I'm not even going to go there. It's insane. Let's see here. Gary, Etsy's okay, but I don't know how this is going to shake down in the forced advertising. Again, you don't pay unless you sell it, but you might have sold it anyway without them advertising it. That's my play. That's why I get aggravated. There should never be a requirement for you have to do that. And it's not going to hit the new ones. It's going to hit the folks that are, been on for a while mostly. If you just got on Etsy and you're just starting, it's going to take you a while to get to there, and you may decide at the end of the day, well, it's not that much, I'll just pay the difference. That's probably their hope. I can't do that. I don't want to mess with that. I don't know what we're going to do when they start doing that, because April, I think, is when they said it's going to happen. We do have an Etsy account, as I said, so I play with Etsy. I know Etsy like the back of my hand, in all honesty. Let's see. Nothing wrong with Etsy, though. Yeah, Dr. Full. They are charging this for advertising. Only if it sells, though. But still, I can't get that out of my head. Yeah, Bridget said the same thing. Thought about taking her account down. Imagine sellers had to directly pay for eBay or Amazon commercials. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I have never sold online. My heirs are going to make out, laugh out. Yeah, that's good. They may not like you very much after that. Gary, eBay is probably sitting back and watching what these other sites are doing and hopefully learning from it. I think they learned from the ad blocker, in my opinion, only because they never put out the pay-per-click like they said. And they did revert it back over and showed both of them again after all that happened. I know for a fact when I announced that to the world that it hurt them financially, 100%. A huge drop in the sales. So, and I know that because I talked to eBay personally. They weren't happy with it, but there wasn't much they could do because I was right on that to tell everybody that it was going on. And they still may hold some resentment towards me over that, but who cares? They can't, treat me any different than anybody else on the site. Let's see here. Yeah, they're probably seeing what they can get away with, Dr. Full. I'm sure that's the case. Maybe if Etsy gets away with it and doesn't kill the company, eBay might do it. That's my only worry from that, I would say. Hang on, my feed just dropped again. Yeah, hang on. I'm going to pop down and feed. My feed's all over the place, so if I miss your question, I'm very sorry. I'm not trying to miss anybody. Froggy Flips. Welcome, eBay Addicts. Gina A., how are you doing? Chop, chop, busy, busy. Work, work, bang, bang. How are you doing this evening? I think I'm back to where I was. The link for Patreon is down in the description box. All you got to do is go to Patreon and then type in The Auction Professor and you'll find me. I'm The Auction Professor on Patreon, Instagram. I've got 2 Facebook pages, a business and then a group page, and then I am on Twitter as well. The Twitter I don't have a ton on other than links and stuff as of now. Let's see here. There's 141 videos on Patreon, just throwing that out there, of just me, and then there's videos from other things up there as well, forums and stuff too. We've got 208 people on tonight. If you haven't hit the like button, you do enjoy the conversation, please just hit that like button. It does help the logarithm here on YouTube to some extent, so I do appreciate that. Let's get down to a few more questions. Again, for those in Patreon, I will be on there this evening addressing any emails or posts. Yeah, Creative Unique, just the small business administration. That's your key to any of that stuff there. Rummage for riches. Just be careful if you're driving and listening. Scott, how are you doing? Do you sell strictly online or do you do events? I don't set up anymore at all. It's not worth my time or energy. We've shopped at Brimfield's in Boston area. In fact, we flew in while I was working up there just to hit it the first week before, too. Robin, how are you doing? Good evening as well. Yeah, I'll be doing videos on Shopify AMG, just FYI. If you missed the beginning of this video, this show, I have a preview little clip for the Weeble video that will be coming out very soon. It's going to be a multi-part one. You're going to see a massive collection of Weebles, including some very rare, some ones you just won't see anywhere else, I can pretty much assure you. I thought it was a flat rate on Shopify. Shopify is not a flat rate for importing. I'm talking about importing fees on Shopify. On Shopify, if you're importing stuff from eBay, you have to go to the App Store, pay, and they've only got it set up for so many listings. So if you go over that, you've got to request for a estimate on how much it's going to cost to import mass quantities. That's how it works with them. Gail, yeah, I'm gonna touch on Shopify. I'm gonna go into it as much as I can. Carl's back, I see. Fancy Pink, how are you doing? Glad I made it live. Well, welcome back for the live show. I have a question on MGM Records. What does the gold label bring for more money? If you're talking about the label itself as gold, it's just a certain time frame that those were released. The artist itself is all that really matters on something like that. Label color doesn't really dictate anything on that. I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about a 45, because there's more gold 45 labels with the MG. It's like a 50s label, probably 55. If you're talking about like Googie Grant, maybe, if that's maybe who you're talking about there, or Gigi Grant, it's probably not worth much at all just because of that label. The performer is what matters, and the specific song or disc number on that disc. That's all that matters. I don't even worry about the main labels pretty much. All I care about is what the name of the performer is on that disc. If it's an oddball label, that's a different story. I do search out certain labels that I always buy. I've got collectors that only collect certain labels as well, like the D label. Just has a D on it. I've got somebody that buys every one that they don't have that I get, and they don't even argue the price. They want every label from that company. It's a smaller label. It just has a D. You can type it and look it up yourself, but it's more a regional one around here. They did like 4 or 5 states worth. Plus, they were obviously sent out across the country. Steve Elmore, how are you doing? Good to have you in. Penny Day, welcome as well, Penny. I just procrastinate. A lot of people do that. There's Dom again. Hello from New Jersey. Welcome, CJ. Seattle. Yeah, I did see that. But that's probably why, I would say eBay canceled, or didn't cancel, they delayed by months the eBay up front here, because they'd be transporting people that could have got something in California to the middle section of the country, which probably wouldn't be a wise thing. Maybe somebody at eBay has it for all we know. That is highly possible. Good to hear, Carolina Picks. Yeah, the Frog Midwest Picker, I've had like 6 or 7 people ask to buy that one there, because it's in the video again, too. I would have to have like 400 for it, in all honesty. I wouldn't probably sell it for anything less than that. The last one that I really liked, I got 450 out of. I do gallery displays and stuff like that too, so it just depends on what the work is. Usually my painted work goes for well over what the other ones do. Portrait wise, I usually sell portraits, if I do a portrait for somebody, like 150 to say 175 for a single person in a portrait. I've done probably 600 portraits in my day. I used to do those a lot when I worked at Disney, just for extra money on the side. So on my free time, I draw a portrait a night sometimes, every night of the week for a couple of years, honestly. Let's see here. Let me get down here. We're going to have to cut it off in just a little bit. I do have to go to Patreon, and I do have to get to bed early. I am up at 4 tomorrow, 4 in the morning. Yes, Primetime does rule. Primetime's a good guy. Dom's the man. Well, Duncan won one of them. I did not remember that. 2 years ago. Yeah, I've been on for 2 years. It's hard to believe that. Fomooko 16. Well, thank you very kindly. And it will be fun for sure. If you missed it, I did some announcements earlier in the show. I'd recommend watching the beginning if you did not see it. Gotta go eat. Duncan wants warm pizza. How dare you? Let's see here. Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price would be a good movie night. I watched part of that just the other night. I was looking for something lighthearted, I guess, was more along those. I want it to be fun, and nothing wrong with Last Man on Earth, because I do like Vincent Price. I'll have to think about that long and hard. We'll do a coin flip maybe with Dom or something. I don't know yet. Murray, well, you are very welcome. Thank you as well for the support. Well, thank you, Duncan. Duncan's eating that pizza. Hey, Marie, how are you doing? So you don't enjoy capitalism. I don't enjoy money over everything. I am a people, family-oriented person, and everything isn't about making money. If it was, I could possibly do some other things that I just don't care to do because I value my freedom over anything else. That's the only thing I really value these days. I made a lot of money when I worked in D.C. area, and I couldn't spend it. I was always working, and to me, the money at some point just didn't mean anything. And when you have like medical issues in the family where, you know, it's a loved one that you care deeply about, like a child, like us, and money doesn't. Yeah, I need money to pay his bills and stuff, but medical bills. But it's more than money. Money isn't my. I don't care now. I don't care. I don't have to have a nice car. I don't have to have, you know, this type of clothing, that type of clothing. I'm not going to buy a $200 pair of tennis shoes. I don't really care. I mean, I wear a pair of jeans because they fit and I like how they fit. And I like how they look. I don't care if it's popular brand, not a popular brand. I don't care. That's just me. I'm not trying to criticize anybody for that stuff. I don't drive in the car and chat on the phone. I don't text and drive at all, ever. I don't go to the movie theaters at all anymore. We got a big 10-foot screen. I don't do stuff like everybody else. Again, I'm not criticizing or anything. It's just I don't do that. It's just not me. I just don't like that stuff anymore. I don't worry about the money. It has nothing to do with anything. I think capitalism has taken advantage of so many people in so many ways. Now, this is aggressive capitalism. I mean, I'm not saying capitalism in general is bad, but people take it to an extreme, like the medical industry. Take it how you will on that, but, that's my take on it. I don't want to get this into political at all. Let me pop down. Again, I got like a few more minutes here, and then we're going to have to end it off here. I'd hate to do that, but let me see here. Yeah, hit the like button, Stunlaw1. Yeah, thank you very kindly. I do forget that all the time. Did someone say comic books? Yes, Dom, I did. I got a little stack of them sitting right over here right now. There are 60s. There's a bunch of Hanna-Barbera in there as well, too. I got Scooby-Doo 1 in that stack, which I was pretty happy to get for 50 cents. Real good condition, too. Last Scooby-Doo 1 I had 2 covers on it. I got a premium for that one. Thrift-A-Life. Sales for uptick, maybe sales for that. We've got a lot more stuff up than I did last year at this point. So it's hard to say. Virus probably helped a little bit, plus listing like mad. I don't take stuff down, so my inventory grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. Our goal is to not go behind any week of the month. Every week I want to get more up than I sold. So if I sell 500 in 1 week, I want to get 525 or more up in that same week. So I'm not going down. I'm at least going up 25 new listings. My end result is to at least hit 100,000 listings in the next, say, year and a half would be my goal. Maybe I'll get it done before that, maybe not. I think with only worrying about them being run through Shopify, I think that would help me again, because then I don't have to do anything extra to... All my extra time won't be wasted. It'll just be one listing, and I click a button for a whole bunch all at once, and I'm done. I don't have to worry about manually going to other sites or any of that stuff. So I should be able to up the volume in our sales just by doing full-fledged, full-steam Shopify. And I'm real close here. This is the closest we've come. Keep my fingers crossed that nothing goes wrong. Thank you, Summers, I'm sorry. Duncan is pizza. Thank you, Steve Elmore. Sometimes I see lower comps on a rare item and I just don't want to sell it for that. Hang on, my feed won't go down. I can't read the rest of it. That price, so I price it higher and let it ride. Yeah, I turn stuff down all the time. Maybe 7 or 8 things just today I turned down. Literally, I didn't counter. I turned them down. Now, I didn't used to turn down stuff, but lately, if I give them a price and they try to come back, and I said I'm firm on that. If I say I'm firm, I'm going to turn them down. The next shot they come back if they don't accept it. That firm word to me is my draw line. If I don't put firm in there, I'm not going to turn it down. But if I say that's my firm standing bottom line and they still try to go below that, I just refuse it. I don't care. You know, I've got a line that I'll go. Part of the problem is if you go below a certain point on certain items you sell, they're going to expect it on all your items, and they'll just assume they can get everything for that price. So you're going to have to counter on some items. You know, you're going to have to keep it in a certain range. Otherwise, you're going to lower the value of your own items, no matter what you price them at. So, you know, I've got a certain percentage, a certain amount I take for each item. And, you know, if I don't get that amount, I don't sell it. I don't worry. I don't care, because I'm going to sell something else if I don't sell that. You know, chances are I've probably sold a half a dozen items probably in the last hour or so, the rate that's been going this evening. I'm just checking my phone. Yeah, I've got 3 more offers on there right now, including an offer for $150, $30 for a Led Zeppelin Classics sheet music, $50 for a t-shirt, $16, $21, and $34.39 offer. That's just since I started the show, but sales are fine. I mean, collectibles are fine, I should say. I don't know about clothing. Don't ask me about clothing. Don't ask me what's going on in the clothing industry at all. I gave it up almost 2 years ago. I haven't looked back since. I've been doing far better by not wasting my time on clothing. I'm not wasting my space on clothing. This has been so much better for me to just center in on the stuff that I know so much better than anything else. I'm not saying I haven't picked off new categories. We are selling in a new category right now. I'm not going to discuss it, but the point is I advance to try new categories because there might be some other categories I can really rake out in, you know, and go from there. And it might be something no one else is thinking on. And that's usually where I get all my best profit margins from, are the categories that no one else messes with. No one else knows how to find the stuff, or no one else knows what the stuff is. Looks like junk to somebody else. It's usually what happens. I usually rake out on that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Hype Direct. I just broke 5K sales on eBay. Is that a month, I'm assuming? Or is that lifetime first goal? Either way, good. Congratulations on that. Yeah, I think people want to stay home and just shop. I don't go out much. I work pretty much all the time. So for me, unless it's a flea market or something, I'm usually not out in public anyway. Just started on Amazon on January 15th. I already have 2,500 in sales. The most important numbers, though, I'm going to say, is not how much you sell, but your profits, how much you made. Just like packages. I could send out 1,000 packages for $1 a piece, or I could send out one package that's worth $2,000. You know, it doesn't, the quantity doesn't matter. Neither does the dollar amount you sell. It's the bottom line is all I worry about these days. Just like I sell on all these platforms. I don't go and look at individual platforms anymore. I don't care if I made 500 on eBay today and this one platform I made 700 on Amazon today, or I made 260 or whatever on Etsy, a couple on Hip. None of that matters. All that matters when you've got all this as a bigger business is your group total at the end of the day. How much did I make, bottom line, after everything is said and done on all platforms? Because again, it's everything's combined for our business. I don't worry about like just eBay or this site or that site or Amazon or whatever. It doesn't matter where the stuff comes from anymore. It used to just be Amazon or eBay, 5 years ago. We used to do book scanning before that, and then we've branched out. But the point of it is, it's a bottom grand total that matters, the net, net, bottom end. Let's just see if we can get one more question in here, and I am going to have to send off here. Let's see here. So I'm looking for a question. Hard work can be freeing. Yes, it can. I don't mind working hard because it's all mine. I don't mess with AbeBooks. AbeBooks, everything goes to Amazon. Everything. I'm pretty sure AbeBooks sells on Amazon. Yeah, keep pushing through, Mary. Very, very good. Yeah, freedom is the number one thing. Yeah, I don't care how much negativity I get or what happens with me saying that on capitalism. I don't have to make every dime in the world. If I had $5 million, I probably wouldn't be trying to make another 5 million. I would just be relaxing with it and just being calm, cool, and relaxed. That's all I would be. I wouldn't have to be out making more money. And I don't have a goal set by money. I just have a goal set by a percentage. I don't really care. I don't dress like I don't care about the fancy stuff. It doesn't matter to me. If it did, I'd wear jewelry and everything else. I don't care. I've had all that in my time frame, and it didn't do anything for me. You can't replace a family member. You can replace money. I don't care about money like that. It's not about money. I've said it before, and people still think I'm just BSing. It's not about money. The one thing that this thing does for me, it's freedom. Nothing more, nothing less. It's freedom. Yeah, I pay my bills. I have money in the bank, but I was always willing to live lesser with less money through my whole life. When my wife had kids, I made sure she didn't work. My wife didn't have to work from when she delivered. I think she quit 3 weeks before. Maybe she worked up until I think she delivered. I think our first child. She worked all the way up to it, and then after that, she didn't work again, unless she wanted to. And she hasn't. She's done stuff and helped out with the business, so we haven't had to. So she does work for us, of course. But so I did the breadwinning, and we made less money just so our kids weren't in daycare, just so we'd have a closer family, just so my wife could spend time with them when I was working all the time. So, I don't care about money. If I did, we would have done things differently 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I didn't care about money. I only cared about spending the time with my family, my kids, my wife, and doing whatever I could to do that. So the wife could have the time with the kids when they, for the first 5 years of their life, it was just us. So, and I didn't live near any family, so, it was us. So, and I've enjoyed that aspect of it. I sincerely enjoyed that aspect of it. Our kids and us are very close. Not like they don't draw a line. I mean, it's not like they're family close. It's just we're a tight family. Everybody thinks we're weird because of that. Everybody does. Every time we go somewhere, and anyway, long story short, we're different, and I don't care. I'm not into the money aspect of it like everybody else, or like everybody would think. It's not me. That's all I can say. I'm going to let it go on that. I hate to be rude or anything like that. I do have to pop on Patreon. I know there is some up. In fact, I just got something else on Patreon. So I will be on Patreon answering questions for like the next 30 or 40 minutes until they're all done. But I do appreciate everybody coming on tonight. If you have, excuse me, I've been talking all day long with stuff going on. But if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button before you go. If you didn't watch the beginning of the movie, there's a preview trailer for the Weebles video that's coming out soon. Excuse me. And I'm going to let it go with that. Thanks all for coming out, and hope you have a good sales week.